book had me giggling and kicking my feet the whole time. This book was physically painful. I look at her and then she's crying. You know, like, we are so used to having a kind of villain in the story who you can like put the blame to, and you're like, oh my god. This book reminds us of all the times we thought that, oh my god, this is the end of the world. But it was not the end of the world, because life is full of possibilities. I was like, how bad can it be? Famous last words. Please, like, drop your conspiracy theories. Please. Hi everybody, I hope you're doing very well. It's a very beautiful October evening, so we're going to be talking about books. I think this lighting is kind of a vibe. What do you think? I was very happy about making this video, so I had made myself a cup of peach tea, which is now very cold because it took me 20 minutes to film the intro. So without any further delay, let's get started with the video. Starting off very strong, we have this book. So this is the book that I read about 2 years ago because my friend recommended it to me. And also there is an interesting story about how she recommended me this book. So me and my amazing friend, we were having a conversation and we were just sitting down and talking about books when she mentions this book. And then she's like, have you read this book? And I'm like, no, I haven't. What's it about? And then she tells me what it is about, okay? She's like going on and on about it. She's like, this happens and then this happens and these are the characters and everything. And then tell me why, halfway through explaining about this book, she starts tearing up. And I'm like, I'm concerned, okay? I was just sitting there and very attentively listening to her. So I look at her and then she's crying. And then I'm shocked. I'm like, what? Why are you crying? And then she tells me, like, this is what this book does to you. What? That should have been my sign to say that, oh my god, I'm not gonna read this book. Like, you are literally crying describing it. So no, I'm not gonna read this book. But guess what I said? I said, yeah, bring it to me. Like, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna try it. I was like, how bad can it be? Famous last words. Because the moment I picked up this book, the very first 10 pages of the book, I was already crying. Like, this book is so amazing. It is so beautifully written, like, it is so painfully beautiful that I just could not stop sobbing. This book follows 2 women of Afghanistan and their lives during the time of war. And it is so amazingly written. Like, the characters are so well written, every single one of them. Both Layla and Miriam have a very special place in my heart. Like, every now and then I keep thinking about them. I haven't read that many books, but among the books that I have read, I have never seen an author write so beautifully from a woman's perspective. Like, I could really visualize these women themselves coming forward and telling the stories of their lives. It's been 2 years since I read this book, and it still has such a lasting impact on me. Like, every time I see anything that is very, like, even remotely related to this book, I start feeling nauseous. Like, this book was physically painful. I have never in my life felt so deeply for characters. Like, throughout this book, I just wanted to jump right inside the book and then embrace the characters. So throughout our lives, you come across some of these amazing life-changing books, and I think this is one of them. Like, it really was a life-changing book for me. All of us should at least read this book once in our lives. So another book that I think about often is this book. The previous book gave you trauma, but this book will heal you. This book really felt like a nice and warm cup of coffee, or like when you wrap yourself around in a nice and warm blanket on a cold day. This was it for me. Like, it is so beautiful that I can't even begin to describe it. So our protagonist is a 25-year-old woman who is an office worker. She is just going on about her life when suddenly one day her life falls apart. And then she is like, oh my god, this is the end of the world. And she is very withdrawn and she doesn't feel like doing anything. And then her uncle, who lives in Tokyo and runs a secondhand bookshop, invites her to stay with him, like to move in with him and help out in running the bookshop. She then accepts his offer to move in and help out with the bookshop. And then she starts rediscovering herself. So this book reminds us of all the times we thought that, oh my god, this is the end of the world. But it was not the end of the world because life is full of possibilities. So she starts rediscovering herself. She builds new connections. She meets new people. And also while running the bookshop, she kind of gets into reading. And so it is also about her newfound love in the books and becomes a reader. So this book is really like a warm hug. Like, this book healed the parts of me that I had no idea required healing. So yeah, this is a really beautiful book. It is not beautiful in like a life-changing, oh my god, mind-blowing way, but it's just very simple, and I think that is what makes it beautiful. Like, it's not complicated. It's not like, oh my god, like you have to be an amazing reader to understand what is going on in the book. No, it is a very like simple, beautiful read. Like just what you need. It is very cozy, very inviting, very warm. So if something has happened to you and you think that, oh my god, this is the end of the world, I think you should read this book. As long as you're living, it's not the end of the world. You can always decide what you want to do with your life at any point. So I think that this book is a friendly reminder that you can restart, you can lose yourself, but also discover yourself again. My phone just ran out of its battery. How very convenient. So if you notice a kind of difference in quality, that is why. Okay, as I was saying, the third book that I really loved was this book, Wonder. And in this book we follow a 10-year-old boy with facial differences, and the story starts as our main character starts going to regular school after being homeschooled his entire life. And it is just about him trying to kind of find his place in this new school. In the beginning, you follow August and you see everything from his perspective, but as we continue, we get to see everything from everybody else's perspective as well. So first, when we read from August's perspective, we kind of start resenting people around him, and we're like, why are people acting the way they're acting? Like, they could be kinder to him. But then as the chapter unfolds and you read things from other people's perspective, you see that not everything that they do comes from a bad place. And this book really is empathy in practice. It really makes you empathize with every characters that are in this book. And I think that is what makes this book really special. And this book really makes you want to be a more understanding and kind person. And that is why I think everybody should read this book at least once in their lives. Also, this book I think is a children's book, but I read it and I think that we as adults also need to learn empathy more, so we should definitely read this book. Also, one more thing that I really loved about this book was the fact that, you know, like, we are so used to having a kind of villain in the story who you can like put the blame to, and you're like, oh my god, like this is the bad person. But in this book, there is no villain. Like, you think that, oh my god, like this person is such a bad person, but when their chapter comes and then you read from their perspective and all of the things that they do and why they do it, and you start empathizing with them and you think, oh my god, like this person is also not a bad person. So there is no villain in the book that you can put the blame to. So that is something that I thought was unique about this book, and so that is why I love it. Another book that I thought was really fascinating is this book, I Who Have Never Known Men. So this is a dystopian novel, and this book follows our narrator who has lived her entire life inside this bunker with 39 other women, but none of them happen to know how they got inside this bunker or why they are kept inside this bunker. And they are guarded 24/7 by these guards who don't talk. So they have so many questions in their head, but there are no answers to their questions. They are guarded and they are so out of touch from the outside world. They barely even remember their lives before they came inside this bunker. So it's like they are fed, they are given pills when they're ill, but they don't know why. Like they are just guarded and every day is just the same. Until one day, sirens go off and they are freed from the bunker. And then once they are freed, they have to figure out this unfamiliar and weird world all by themselves. So if anybody has read this book, can we please talk about it? Like, I really want to hear other people's thought on this. Like, please, like, drop your conspiracy theories, please. Okay, so now last and final recommendation for today is this book, Picking Daisies on Sundays. This is a romance novel and this book is so cute. Like, this book had me giggling and kicking my feet the whole time. If you love rom-com, this book is for you. Like, pick this book up right now. Like, what are you doing? I was so sad after finishing this book, thinking, what if I never experience anything like this in my life? Like, that would be very sad. But yeah, this book is very cute. Both of our characters are amazing. The male main character is very much a green flag. This here is also a romance novel that I enjoyed. And I think this is really popular. I think anybody who reads romance novels knows about this book. But then this book is very much underrated. I have not seen many people talk about this. I think this book is self-published, and I think that this deserves more recognition. It's a gem. It's a gem. And also what makes this book and this book special is the fact that they are very like believable. You know what I mean? Like you can like really imagine something like that happening in real life with you. That is what makes it cute. So yeah, if you love rom-coms, that book is for you. Go read it, ladies, and also gentlemen, if you wish to. So that is it for today's book recommendations. Also, if you happen to read any of these books, reach out to me. Like, I would love to talk about these books. I am never busy to talk about these books. I would love to rant any day. So yeah, that is it for today's vlog. See you in another one. I forgot to say bye.